Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Apparent Voice. I am your host, Bernita Bradley, and this is Tuesday, hmm, September 15th. So we are midway through the month already, you guys. Welcome again to the Apparent Voice. Just want to open up with a couple of thank yous to the National Parent Union for sponsoring this show and for sponsoring all the other great work that they're doing across the country. Want to remind everyone that this is voting season, right? Keep it in the forefront of your mind. Every family needs to vote. We have the National Parent Union has a campaign called Every Family Votes, and we really want families to really push those in your household who may not be acclimated to voting, or those young people who may not have registered yet, to go ahead and sign up and register to vote. Get those paper ballots in the mail so that you can vote ahead of time, and make sure you know where your voting polls are and everything like that. So with that being said, every family votes. My family is a family that votes, and I want your family to be a family that votes and that is counted. And it's very critical that we vote today, um, this year, because of who we have in our office. And I think Michelle Obama said it best, that he is not the person for the job, right? And when she said that, she said it so sincere, and the sentiment was so heartfelt that even my 16-year-old daughter has talked about it often lately. And I acknowledge the fact that I am a person who used to didn't vote. Like probably about 10, 15 years ago, I was like, I'll vote if I feel like voting, right? Like I didn't see the value in it. But I was also told something, that you don't get to complain about something you are not willing to do something about. So voting is an action thing. And if you're doing it, then you get to complain. Anybody else who's not doing it, I don't want to hear your voice. With that being said, something else that we do not get to just complain about, right? We don't, school has started, and I know that we have been talking about educating our children and how homeschooling looks. Our organization, The Village, received, or our company received a small grant from the National Parent Union to start a homeschool network here in Detroit. It was announced last month, and I'm very excited. I'm so excited about the work that we've already been doing for the last couple of weeks to start that homeschool network, and how that looks for families in the city of Detroit. And so I just wanted to explain to people a little bit about what we're doing, and then show you some videos of what supports families have been receiving across the city of Detroit. I'm very excited about it. So special thanks again to the National Parent Union, but thanks also to the parents who applied. We had several parents to apply. We only had seats for 12 families to receive what we call homeschool coaching. And that homeschool coaching actually comes through three beautiful coaches that I met in the city. Some of them you've seen on our show, and one is Keisha Gray. So shout out to Keisha Gray and her beautiful family, who has been homeschooling forever. I won't introduce them because the video you'll see in a few minutes will be introducing them. Natasha Sansone, who has been literally, she's known as Beautiful Thought, and a lot of people in the city knows her, but she's a homeschool coach for us as well. And then Lakeisha Conley, also thanks to the Niles District, Community District, School District here in Michigan, who is agreeing to partner with our parents to host our extracurriculum activities. And our families, some of our families have signed up to enroll with that, and with their district, and some haven't. But the overall goal is to make sure that families are doing what they need done for their children. So again, I was told years ago, like, you don't get to complain about anything that you're not doing something about. And so with us complaining about how school has been, and when I say homeschooling, I don't necessarily mean the virtual schooling that families are doing right now. And this is no punt against families who have chosen to stay with their district and do virtual schooling or whatever type of learning they're doing, but we are starting a homeschool network that will help to strengthen what families are already doing or pull out some ways that families can homeschool and educate their own children and make sure they're successful at doing it. The homeschool coaches that we have chosen have been successful in so many areas with their children, and I've watched them over the years do that. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and I'll explain the video as I'm about to set it up. So the video, I'm on a screen share for a moment. So this video, excuse the roughness of it because this was our first, no, not our first meeting. This was our third meeting where the parents actually got to meet the coaches and have time with their individual coaches. We did have a meet and greet a couple of weeks ago with the Niles Community District, and then I had an initial meet and greet with the initial parents who signed up to make sure parents were on board and to understand a few things. So even though I'm the recipient of the grant, I am not leading this charge. So this opens up, not at the very beginning of our meeting, but at that point where we're agreeing to be a network and how that network hopefully will look. You'll hear me talking a lot, which is, I didn't realize I talked a lot, and I said a lot of I statements, which this network will not be an I thing whatsoever. So I just want you to know that. So please enjoy this quick video, and then I'll probably cut it a little short and go to the portion where parents actually went into breakout rooms with their coaches. So this is some of our parents on, and we have another session that we'll host with the other parents to introduce them to their coaches also. The other thing is, I would like for our meetings to become a thing where I'm not the one always leading them, but the parents are. You as parents individually are leading these meetings to say how it's going, and then we break out whenever we meet. Right now, we'll try to meet as much as possible just to get us on the bandwagon. But then we'll break out, and you're going to be meeting like literally with your individual coach, okay? Any questions so far? I'm talking real fast. I want to get finished before 7.
For my daughter who is still, well, we don't know if she's going to participate with the module piece that she was doing before. If I do decide for her to go through that, but I still want the extracurricular, she's still able to participate in Niles, or because she's enrolled in another school, you can't do both?
Yeah, she can't do both. No, they're not going to let her do both. She's enrolled in an actual school curriculum?
It's through Virtual Learning Academy. And it's like she doesn't have teacher. Well, she has a teacher, but they don't teach the lesson. She's able to access a tutor, but it's modules, and you're a self-starter. Like, you do it on your own pace.
So I would ask you to ask your coach so y'all can explore what that is. If that's something that they're getting paid for through the state, then that's considered school. If it's something like Khan Academy is free, so they're not technically getting paid from Khan Academy, right? So.
Well, they have not. It's been really a struggle dealing with them. That's why I'm really trying to move on, because she has not received her technology. They're asking about a modem I turned in 3 months ago. They don't know where her computer is that I turned in 4 months ago. So this has just been an issue with paperwork and different things. So I really want to find something else for her. Okay. So you could discuss that with your coach and make sure they'll be able to help you find out if that's, where they're getting paid through the district or whatever. Right. So that's the first thing. And then the next thing, as far as me not leading,
the webinar that we will have. I'm going to send you guys some information soon, asking you to sign off on, like, it's okay to share your information with, not information, but like your name, to say that these are the families who are signed up with the National Parent Union. And then I'll need permission, like photo releases, stuff like that, for times like I'll ask you to do photos of you and your kids doing homeschooling, or if we're here or we're somewhere else doing a big gathering. And when we're doing this big gathering, like we're taking photos, I don't want to have to get photo releases for everything. The other thing is that if you by any chance, if you know of people, I know when we were on with Niles Community School, they were talking about come January, we could pay our own people, like teachers, to teach music or teach dance or teach robotics or something like that. If you know of people who do that, I would love for you guys to send me an email with their name, like connecting me, so that we can kind of start interviewing as parents who we would sign on for doing that. And the reason why I'm saying us interview is because I want everybody to feel comfortable with whoever we go with, right? If you recommend them, I would probably ask you not to be biased and help interview them, but we will interview them together, right? So if Janetta recommends somebody, like maybe me and Cassandra, or Stacy and Cassandra will interview them for some other, for the class or something like that. And I keep seeing that people's stuff keep jumping off, so I really think that this Zoom is really unstable right now. It looks like it's clicking people off. So with that being said, I am going to go into introducing our fabulous coaches. And so I've known, I'll start with Keisha, Miss Keisha, Miss Gray here. I have known Miss Gray for about 4 years now, like sporadically met her on Facebook, was like, oh, she's so dope. And then, no, I didn't meet you on Facebook. Yes, I did. I met you on Facebook first. And then I was sitting in my daughter's music class one day, and I was like, that's that lady. I noticed the hair, and I was like, yep. And we just started talking, and then found out this fabulous child of hers is homeschooled. And I was just like so mesmerized by her life. And she has been like every year telling me, your daughter better be homeschooled next year. Like, your daughter needs to be homeschooled. Like, she's been asked you need to get on top of it. And I was afraid. And so now here's my opportunity to homeschool, right? And so, Keisha, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about you?
Hi, I'm Keisha Gray, and I am the parent of 4 children, ranging in age from, oh my goodness, they're getting old, and so am I. 18, my daughter is just graduated from high school. I have a son who is in his his first year of his second Changing His Mind college program. They're both living in Canada right now because it's a little bit safer for them right now to be there. I also have a daughter who's marching to her own drum, and she's 27, and a son who is 34, married with 4 children. And so I have, I really believe that it's important to support your children in being free thinkers, and being critical thinkers, and thinking for themselves, and thinking about how to design a life for themselves. So when we hear schools talk about having kids that are college ready, I think it is more important than college. It is way more important. It's about being life ready and designing the life that you want. So that is my goal as I work with parents, to sort of get you out of the fear zone, because so much about what we know about learning and education, we've done forever in the same way. And so sometimes we have to step outside of our fear box and just try something new, even though it seems unconventional. And trust me when I tell you, you'll be pleased with the adult that you grow. And so I'm very pleased with that. So that's my introduction. I can't hear you, Bernita. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I did. I muted. Forgive me. Thank you, Keisha. So Keisha will be. I kind of changed the structure. She'll be coaching families that have more older kids. Those families may have some younger kids, but they'll have more older kids. And then the next person that we have is Natasha. Wait a minute, Natasha. I think I want to go with Lakeisha only because she's gotten in her car and hers was going in and out. So I just want to make sure we get her while she's kind of a little bit stable. So forgive me. Go ahead, Lakeisha. So I met her a couple of months ago and they came on my show. And when they came on, I was just like, she kind of mirrors to me a little bit of Keisha, like just these kids. I'm looking at these babies. I judge people by their kids. I really do, y'all. I really do. I hate to say that. And I shouldn't say judge, but when I see kids that are happy of doing what they do, it does something for me. So go ahead, Lakeisha.
Okay, hopefully, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm Lakeisha, and yesterday I celebrated renewal of our wedding vows, and we have 5 children. The oldest one is 23, and they've been homeschooled the whole time. They've never been to school outside of college. My oldest one is 23. He graduated from Michigan State University. And I have a 20-year-old and 17-year-old. They go to Macomb because of the, and then I have a 14-year-old. And like I said, they've all been homeschooled. And with this homeschooling thing, it's been amazing. I tell you, they've been able from her job, which is working at the ice skating rink. She's a figure skater. And she took it upon herself to write a letter. This is the testament to homeschoolers when people try to say that they're sheltered and how they're going to face life. This child wrote a letter to the director of the ice skating rink, invented a job, and he told her he'll see her when she gets off the ice. And he told her to show what she would do, which was check the temperature and ask these questions. And he said, okay, you're hired.
There you go.
And so she's 14, making $10.50. You know, for her, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much.
Oh, yeah, we in it now.
You know, it's amazing. It's so much what you can do.
Yeah,
and it's
you
like
earned
every
it.
single
Y'all
day.
earned it. Y'all stepped up to some big boy challenges today.
Excuse me,
I'm really
Tyrania.
proud of y'all stepping up and working with me. And
Uh-oh.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just, the homeschooling, it's just so many opportunities, so much you can do. And it's so many methods and ways of homeschooling. You know what? I'm not sure. Am I supposed to be doing this right now or just introducing who I am?
No, that's fine. That's fine. I like the fact that you went off into your life, whatever. I want people to really understand who's coaching them, that these aren't some people that we got coming along and they're like, oh, I'm going to make you better parents. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
no.
I want them to be comfortable with you.
And one thing I've learned through homeschooling is that it's easier to be judged because it seems like people think it's all on you, but it's not. It's like what's going on here is a whole village. It's a ton of resources out here. I do not know everything, and I've learned so much from homeschooling. Despite all my degrees, I've learned more through homeschooling. And I just sit beside them. I learned so many great things, and I'm here for you to help you homeschool the way you see fit for your family. I'm not a homeschool parent who thinks that everybody should do it my way. I'm here to support you to the best of my ability that's going to help you do better and feel more comfortable homeschooling. But I tell you, it has sure worked for us, and I've seen so many families. I really don't know too many unsuccessful. And when I say successful, I'm not talking about in the work field, and I'm talking about truly prospering and close-knit and just being a part of society, being a part of life in general. I don't know too many people that have homeschooled and didn't, do well with it. So I don't want to talk too much, guys, because I'm not a big talker, but when it comes out to homeschool or marriage, I get so excited. So that's it for me. Any questions?
Okay, so we're going to move on to Natasha. I do want everybody to do me a favor. Can you write the age of the child that you most want support for in the chat? So the reality is there's some people who are just trying this for one child. Some are trying it for all of their children. But the age of the child that you want the most support for, can you write that in the chat for me? And that's the person who's going to coach you, because I know we have so many different age kids and age children in the household.
Yeah.
So,
can I ask for some additional information? Can they write all the ages of the ones that are homeschooling? And like highlight that one that you're saying, just so we can have more comprehensive.
I don't know how, if it'll do it like that in the chat, but
or maybe put the asterisk or something.
3 and 11. Okay. So while Natasha's talking, everybody else, if you can write yours in, let me know. And then Natasha. So now Natasha, I met Natasha. Same thing. Met her on Facebook through doing poetry, and then found out she was met. Look, all these music children up here. And so we ended up meeting up at the music center, and her and my son was in the same program. I mean, her and my daughter, her son and my daughter, I'm sleepy, I'm tired, was in the same music program. And I mean, just inspiring parents. So go ahead, Natasha, I'll let you take it away before I flubber over my voice again.
I have one son, one child.
Amazing.
Lakeisha, can you mute?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
That's gigging on her son. Sorry. Let me see. He is amazing.
Oh, thank you. He is 15, just started driver's ed tonight. We've been homeschooling since he was in 4th grade. Started off with him being in 3rd grade, and I was up at the school all the time. I asked him when I started homeschooling, how much was I up at the school? He said, you were there more than the teacher was. So obviously I felt like if I always had to be coming up to the school, because the teacher, to give the teacher assistance, not necessarily with my own son, but just in general, that's when they were switching over to Common Core. They were doing a lot of training. Teacher was gone often. So I came in to help kind of supplement as a help in the classroom. So I said, if I'm the one telling the teacher, if I'm the one that is giving tips to the special education department regarding my child, then I might as well do this myself. I say that like it's easy. I know it's not. It took me a year to finally decide to homeschool. But once we started, there was no turning back. And very quickly, I would say after the first year, I knew for a fact that I had made the right choice, that it was all in divine order, that it was my God-given responsibility to teach my child with the help of the village, because that's essentially important, help of the village, especially also being a single parent. And it can be done even as a single parent, but it does take a village. And I'm all just like ecstatic that you all have this support group here, not just as your coach and coaches, but also Bernita being that connection to the community, and you all in community with each other. I could say a whole lot, but I think that's a pause for right now. Oh, I didn't say. I also teach in the homeschool groups. I've taught in the schools. Like someone said, that you learn a lot homeschooling came with a master's degree, but at the same time, we're learning along the way with our children and also learning how our children learn best. So I will stop right there.
Okay, everybody. So before we start, are there any questions? Any questions? I am creating our breakout rooms and um, 1 minute. I don't see Stacy. Hey, Stacy.
Yes.
What child did you want help with the most?
Probably my son Curtis, 8 years.
Okay, everybody. So as you can see, the parents were introduced to the coaches, and then I'm going to show just a little portion, a really quick of when they actually got into the rooms with their coaches, so that you can see how that process started going with the parents.
She's good.
And it was really nice for them to actually meet their coaches. And I think we have like 2 people who've already been homeschooling or attempting homeschooling. And but the reality is in Detroit, our homeschooling networks are totally different from in most of our rural, like Caucasian areas. They have more support than we do have in the city of Detroit. Their support looks like, you may have heard me mention in their Niles School District. So we've created a partnership with Niles School District where some of our homeschooling will actually be done, the extracurriculum will be done by Niles schools. But that offers us opportunity to have extra resources for our kids, but not pay out of pocket. So these coaches are sponsored by National Parent Union, and I'll let you go ahead and hear what they're talking about with their coaches. So Keisha here, you'll see me flick kind of like from room to room, so you'll see different people pop up, but just briefly, I'll show you what they've been talking about.
She's good with history. She can do English to a certain point, because I have not seen her complete any papers where you're doing research, and that's, to me, that's important. But math is something that she really struggles with, and it's a disconnect. So I have some homeschooling materials, like homeschool books. So what we've been trying to do is, this school year, I started her back on 4th grade. Okay. And told her to do some of the, let's go back and see where the problem is. And so I'm asking her, like, do this page, and then we're going to talk about it if there was anything wrong. So I'm at right now with her. Now, my other daughter,
16.
Yeah.
And what grade?
Her stuff is like paced. So it's My Virtual Academy and Back on Track. So that program does not have like a traditional school teacher dynamic. It's more of a paced module. Like you do a module, you answer the questions, do a module, then you do a test, and then a unit test, and then that's how you get your grade. Okay, so since it's up to her, she's moving at the pace of a snail. She's doing the work, but she's not doing it at an acceptable pace. So, if you don't complete classes on time, it pushes you back. Like at this rate, you'll never graduate.
And so what grade is she supposed to be working in right now for her pace?
She is supposed to be in the 11th grade, because she'll be 17.
Okay. When will she be 17? This year?
January.
Okay. Cool. All right. So here, so she's my virtual academy back on track. So the challenge with her is just keeping up to speed. What do you think are some of the challenges she has with working at a snail's pace? Like what is not motivating her to get to where she needs to be?
Okay, so that is my child that has special needs. So sometimes she says that she has difficulty spelling words. Like she's very she's able to like grasp information. She's able to look at something and be able to talk, like looking for the main idea, being able to, I think she can put a paper together, in my opinion, but she struggles with writing with spelling. She struggles with spelling. Like I told her while I'm teaching my littles spelling and stuff, you need to sit in on that so we can try to, it's like transpose
that you know of so far.
Miriam is pretty hands-on. She loves all things life. It's all things life. It seems like she loves the fish. She loves the bugs, the earth. She's just, she's very hands-on and musical. She loves music. She learns really well with song. And so that's kind of what I do with her. Mia is kind of the same way. She loves song. She learns well with that. Right now I'm having some issues with math, catching her up with the math. So, yeah.
Okay, good. And so we'll go to Miracle.
Okay. So I'm learning that Jeremiah is a critical thinker.
Miracle, Cassandra, if you could mute, that'd be great. Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Jeremiah is a critical thinker, and sometimes that's a strength and a weakness. He learns with subjects that he likes, he's hands-on. He typically goes against things that in his head doesn't make sense. For example, the hard time, because he's a critical thinker, I can't just say art is needed. He needs to understand why do he need art 5 years from now? So we had to actually break that down so that he can understand it's not just for, drawing or being creative, but to unlock those creative doors in your brain. He likes, what do he like? He loves science. He loves science and he's good in math. But then he has some areas that he's, challenged in. He hates to read, which is probably my fault for not having him read when he was younger all the time. But that's about it, I think.
It's interesting that although you posed an area that you don't always like to have challenge you. You pretty much posed it in a positive way, but I have a child that is like that, and I relate. So I understand the whole up and down of that, and knowing from our intelligence, like that's a good trait to have, but as your mama, there's that. So now, Cassandra, just you had mentioned math was a weak area, or that you were trying to catch her up in the math area. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Well, they stopped school so early in March. And then, after that, they had the summer break. And so I'm thinking that, where it's stemming from is just that gap from that time frame being away from school. And so I'm just trying to get them back, trying to get Mira back into the rhythm of things, Yeah.
Would you say, Miracle, that is, do you kind of feel that same way, or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Have either of you, okay, well, let me start with this. Have you all done any research in regards to the laws, or just to have a deeper understanding of what homeschooling really is? Or you're just kind of going off what you heard, what you think, what you're learning?
Yeah, just kind of going off by what I'm learning. Yeah, I've done some research, and it kind of, corroborates what you guys are saying in the classes and everything, or the discussions that we have. And I feel more confident now that I can do it. Before I didn't have that level of confidence, and now I feel like, okay, yeah, I think I can do this.
Is it because of the support?
Yes, because of the support. Yes. Before I didn't know what direction to go into. I still kind of don't, but I'm learning, and I feel more confident in the process now.
Okay, good. Miracle, how do you feel as it relates to your confidence level, or how much you're familiar with already?
I'm not real familiar with homeschooling at all. But I did do research. More of my research has been on figuring out my son's learning language, and how to approach him based on his learning language, and based on
he's telling you, what he needs. And I know that might sound like, well, what does that mean? Well, what does he need? But, but along the journey, you'll be able to use that information as kind of in your recipe of how to create your homeschool or his homeschool.
So, it actually did help, because, it made me stop, even though it was, fun, not fun, but, it was a laughing matter. Like, in the moment, we didn't take it seriously. Okay. He literally that was him, like, okay, I need to release from this. It made me understand, one, I don't have to approach homeschooling like the school structure. And I need to figure out what works for him. And I think I read a post that kind of helped me, and it came from a teacher that was teaching virtual learning.
What time do you have to work?
Well, that's the thing. I don't have like a set schedule, but I have like different tasks in we have a huge project. We got an annual conference that we're about to put on. We have a lot of things that I have to do, like on my computer, and connect them with our members, because we're a membership-based organization. So it's like I'm lacking because I'm not showing up to these other virtual meetings because I'm on my kids' Zoom call trying to help them log in.
Let that go.
That's another thing I think. It's crazy that the pressure. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna let that go, because
let that go. And let that go. Only thing you have to do is, if you want to strictly do your own thing, which I highly encourage, especially with 5 kids. Nobody has time to be bothered with 5 sets of different teachers. Do you? And reach out for help. If you don't, if you get these resources and you don't feel like, girl, I'm messing my kids up in this, then you just other people to help you. Okay. But I would, the way it sounds like, I can't say for sure, but the way it sounds like, you need to ditch that virtual and strictly homeschool, and take it as slow or as fast as you need to.
Okay.
Trust me. If you start homeschooling, you might gonna want to do it every year, and trust me, they'll get it before they leave the house. It's not that serious. You got to start with the foundation. Like you just said, your baby can't write a sentence. Start off with the foundation. Start off with sentence writing. And I'm going to tell you, look in every grade book. You're going to see parts of speech. So why not just teach them all at the same time?
Right.
Because every book you get.
Textbooks. We don't have any textbooks from the school.
Oh, so see, you know what? Like I said, every book in from K through 8 is going to have some of the same themes. Like I said, it's going to be, every book is going to talk about a noun.
Yeah.
So just because in Unit 3, this one talks about nouns in Unit 3, but in the
I am muted. Okay. Yes. So I just really wanted to share with you a brief introduction of some of the parents that are in the homeschool network that we're starting. It. Again, the name of it is Engage Detroit, and it's it's going along real well. It's funny how many similarities a lot of the families have, and most of it is math and reading. And like the kids are like geniuses in these areas. Like every parent just about explained how their child loved forensics, or their child loved robotics, or their child like these things that some kids might deem a little hard to do. These kids are picking up, right? But the basics kind of aren't there for some of the kids. So the coaches are helping them to navigate that and help them. I like what Miracle said about her son learning his language for learning, like his love for learning. What is his love language for learning? And understanding that and taking a step back some and saying, okay, what do we need to do to help you? How can we help you? I'll tell this quick snippet about my journey this week with my daughter. So I was making her select classes and everything that she wants to be a part of for homeschooling, and where she wants to start and everything. And I'm going off her old transcript, and chemistry is one of the class. She has to take half of a chemistry class this year. And because she didn't do well in it, I think 10th grade. And so she was telling me, she looked at chemistry and she said something. She said, well, do I have to do chemistry? And I immediately went into well, what do your transcripts say? And what, and I had to really, really like back myself up and say, wait, like, why are you approaching this like this with her? And I looked at her and she shrunk. She was like, then I looked at her and said, baby, what do you want to do? And she said, I really want to do forensics. And she like brightened up and she was like, she even said it like that, I really want to do forensics. And I was like, well, you do forensics then, baby. You do forensics. And so she signed up for forensics class. And so I just really want parents to understand that this homeschool journey is more about the children than it is about us. And sometimes we have to step back and really allow them to shine and be the bright stars that they are and they always have been, and that these systems have pushed away and pushed back out of them. And then sometimes, in our home, because we've been programmed around education, and now we're deprogramming ourselves, right? We're coming out of this mindset of that we need systems to educate our children. So take it one day at a time. If you have not homeschooled, if you are a virtual parent, a virtual school parent, even that, take it one day at a time and don't let it stress you out. Don't let it kill you. I will be sharing Friday more snippets from this show. From the journey of parents transitioning from traditional schooling to homeschooling. I'll be sharing more. And you'll see us in the weeks coming on talking to some parents about how it is, how it feels. We're giving the parents complete autonomy to tell the truth, like this is some bull, or this is working fabulous for my family, whatever, right? And even fluctuating schedules. And I want to talk to diverse parents. I want to talk to parents who are working full time and how they're adjusting with it, as well as parents who may have schedules that really permit them through the day to be with their kids. So with that being said, this has been the Aparent Voice, and I thank you for joining me today. Know that your children are your most valuable resource that you have, your most valuable possession that you have, and people are after them to make sure that their seats on their docket for school, but we don't have to let them be that, right? If where your child is not educating them, or it's not good for your child, then make the transition. Make it with peace, go in love, and know. Talk to your children first, though. Talk to them. Really talk to them and explain to them a little bit what you know about homeschooling, and do research. Also, we have 4 webinars that will be coming up And those webinars will be talking about the transition to homeschooling and virtual learning experiences, period, and how we plan to support families here in the city of Detroit moving forward around homeschooling policies, laws, and different supports and resources that we have for you. So thank you so much. This has been the Apparent Voice, our Tuesday, November 15th show. And we will be signing off, and bless you. Thank you, National Parent Union, again. Have a good day.